The Elimination Chamber. Satan's structure, 36 feet in diameter, 2 tons, maybe 10 tons of solid steel, designed to punish the human body, and for almost 15 years plus, the Elimination Chamber has done its job and has revolutionized the wrestling business, changed the game, and as well as created a hostile environment for anybody that steps forth into it. And we're going to be looking into that, especially with the Elimination Chamber looming this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. How original, I know. In which we have the first ever women's Elimination Chamber and the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber. I thought that it would be really cool to do a top list of Elimination Chamber matches. And unfortunately for you guys that were hoping for the IC title match, tag team title match, and the Extreme Elimination Chamber to be on this list, you are sadly mistaken. I would suggest moving onward. Anyway, that being the case, I am Nate the Effing Great from the Game Changer, and these are my top 10 best Elimination Chamber matches of all time. Number 10, the Elimination Chamber match represented by SmackDown in 2012. So imagine this, if you will. Daniel Bryan's going in against 5 other competitors, and who would he probably have to be beaten? Well, he would have to be beating The Big Show. He would have to beat the Great Khali. He would have to beat Wade Barrett. He would have to beat Cody Rhodes. And he'd have to beat Santino Marella. Wait, what? So a year prior, Santino Marella actually had a historic moment in which he was actually one of the final 2 competitors of the first ever 40-man Royal Rumble. And he outlasted 38 other guys before getting eliminated by then winner Alberto Del Rio. Now, 1 year following, he is in this World Heavyweight title Elimination Chamber matchup. Big Show eliminated Khali. Big Show got eliminated by Cody Rhodes, I believe it was, after numerous finishers. And then we see Santino pin Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett, leaving it to be again the final 2 between Santino Marella and Daniel Bryan. Santino hits the Cobra. The crowd is electric. They are thinking, oh my God, we might have a new world champion. 1, 2. Santino Marella, unfortunately for him, Daniel Bryan kicks out and he gets locked into the LaBelle lock, now known as the Yes lock. Santino Marella has no choice but to tap out. This was one of the first Elimination Chambers I had to see live and in person. It was still a good matchup. And in all honesty, this was one of the most electrifying crowds that I have seen just get off their seats and just absolutely go bananas because they thought Santino was going to be the champion. Thankfully, though, Daniel Bryan would still represent as the world champion. Oh, wait, he lost the title in 18 seconds at WrestleMania. Well, that was a good run while it lasted. Number 9. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out 2008. So in a matchup basically to determine the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, you have The Undertaker, Batista, Big Daddy V, Great Khali, MVP, and Finlay battling against each other. And this is one of the first Elimination Chamber matches where I got to see them utilize the actual chamber, meaning that there was actually falls count anywhere. We saw Big Daddy V gets DDT'd on the outside, causing him to be eliminated. We saw Finlay get chokeslammed on the outside, causing him to be eliminated. And we even saw MVP get tossed from the top of a chamber pod onto the ring in one of the scariest moments I think I've seen during an Elimination Chamber matchup. Holy guacamole, was that insane. And we see one of the best counters from a power slam by Batista into the tombstone by The Undertaker. Undertaker would go on to face and win the World Heavyweight Championship from Edge. So this matchup itself was really good. It built up quite a few of the characters around the Elimination Chamber. It just really was a well-placed story and a well-thought-out matchup. So that was really great. Number 8. The Raw Elimination Chamber match in 2012. The WWE Championship, so prestigious, so illustrious, and just a great, great title. Where is it going to be placed on this Elimination Chamber card? Oh, the first matchup on the card. Oh, well then. Well, despite the fact that it was the first matchup on the official show, CM Punk had to defend his WWE Championship against R-Truth, The Miz, Chris Jericho, Kofi Kingston, and Dolph Ziggler. Now, some of the great moments here we got to see was Dolph Ziggler doing pull-ups while he's inside the chamber pod, CM Punk doing his elbow drop to R-Truth, Chris Jericho coming in and just being the best in the world at what he does, proving that he is indeed a veteran when it comes to the Elimination Chamber matchup, but unfortunately getting eliminated, quote-unquote, in the weirdest way possible, where he basically got kicked in the head, thrown to the outside, and he was seemingly knocked out. People are just like, yeah, no, he's done. CM Punk would defeat The Miz in the final two and retain his WWE title. The one benefit that we got from this Elimination Chamber matchup was the fact that we saw Chris Jericho and CM Punk main event WrestleMania and Extreme Rules. Well, I guess preliminary main events, because those two matches were main evented by Cena for reasons unknown. But the matchup itself definitely helped CM Punk again illustrate and put a stamp on the fact that he is indeed here to stay and that he is indeed the WWE Champion, definitely deserving of that victory. Number 7, the Elimination Chamber matchup in 2014. So why on earth would the Authority put their guy, Randy Orton, inside the Elimination Chamber? Well, because reasons, I guess. So Randy Orton had to defend his title against Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Cesaro, Christian, and Sheamus. In a matchup, again, that I had the chance to actually witness, it was a very well done matchup. And again, it really helped illustrate and really build up a lot of the superstars that were involved in this matchup. We got to see Cesaro looking like the badass and having a little mini push, which sadly did not go anywhere. We saw Christian come back on pay-per-view and deliver a devastating frog splash to Sheamus. Daniel Bryan got a nice pinfall victory over Christian. We saw the Wyatts interfere in the Elimination Chamber matchup, attacking Cena, costing him the matchup. And Daniel Bryan, we thought was going to be so close to winning the title, but then Kane got involved. Oh, corporate Kane, why? Just why? And Randy Orton would pick up the victory, winning his first ever Elimination Chamber matchup, having won none in the previous encounters. So this was one of those matches where it did tell a great story. It built up superstars, but it also would build up to the final payoff, which was Daniel Bryan win the title at WrestleMania 30. Spot on, you Elimination Chamber. You did a great job. Number 6, the Elimination Chamber match at SummerSlam 2003. Now, I know, maybe this matchup does not deserve to be on the list because of the fact of what happened at the end. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about what happened during the matchup. We started off with Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. They, of course, put on a wrestling clinic. We got a young up-and-comer Randy Orton having his first taste of the main event title scene, which was absolutely amazing. And just, he did a really good job. Only a year later, he would become the world champion, ironically. Kevin Nash came in just wrecking house like he would. And then came Goldberg. The future WWE Hall of Famer would just murder everybody. He would just decimate Randy Orton. He would destroy Shawn Michaels. And he would literally try to kill Chris Jericho by sending him into a pod and then just wrecking him in the ring. And then, of course, Goldberg would go after Triple H. And we kind of know what happens there. Triple H uses a sledgehammer on Goldberg and winning in the lamest way possible. Wow. Just wow. Just a good job, WWE. You really knew how to make a bad ending for that one. Jeez Louise. But in all honesty, it's the nostalgia that happened during the matchup that really makes it a worthy contender on this list. And I'm actually proud to say that it is on this list. So deal with it. Number 5, the Raw Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out 2009. Alright, so Edge is probably one of the smartest men that has ever stepped foot in a wrestling ring. Earlier in the night, he lost the WWE title in a matter of 3 minutes to Jeff Hardy. Well, I guess the eventual winner would have been Triple H in the Elimination Chamber match from SmackDown. But then he saw an opportunity, took out Kofi Kingston, went into the chamber pod and said, yeah, I'm putting myself in this matchup. Referees are just like, okay, let's do it. Again, another great matchup in which we see guys actually looking great. Chris Jericho establishing himself as a major bastard who knew exactly what he was doing. Rey Mysterio, of course, being the high flyer. John Cena being the world champion and putting up one hell of a fight. And Mike Knox looking like a guy who would just wreck anybody in his path. One of the big moments in this matchup was the fact that John Cena looked like he was going to actually win this matchup. It looked like he was about to give an AA to Edge, but then we saw Chris Jericho hit a code breaker. Cena would get stunned in the ropes. A 619 by Rey Mysterio. Then a spear by Edge. 1, 2, 3. Cena would be eliminated. And just that moment alone, the audience was just in shock. And even the superstars in the ring, they were in shock at what just happened. You look at the reaction of Edge of just going from a shocked man to just that smirky smile of just like, I just eliminated Cena. I just got to beat 2 more guys and I'll be the world champion. Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio even sold it where they're like, was that supposed to happen? And in the end, Rey Mysterio would come so close, but Edge would spear Rey Mysterio and pick up the World Heavyweight Championship. And honestly, you guys, the best promo that I've heard from Edge is the one where he says that he turned the WWE Championship into the World Heavyweight Championship. Man, Edge, we miss you. You're a true Hall of Famer. You truly deserve every single bit of gratitude. Number 4, the Elimination Chamber match presented by Monday Night Raw at the 2008 No Way Out event. Oh boy, was this just an absolutely insane matchup. So this was a matchup to determine the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. You got guys like Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, JBL, Umaga, Triple H. They're all battle, and Jeff Hardy, to battle to see who would earn that right to face off against the champion at WrestleMania. And in this matchup, holy guacamole, did this really build up a lot of guys. We got to see a little bit of the Chris Jericho JBL rivalry kind of, I guess, finish up. After one code breaker to JBL, we see Chris Jericho get the victory and get some revenge. But also, before that even happened, we saw Umaga just wrecking house and even seeming very strong as he was locked in the walls of Jericho by Chris Jericho, and then a crossface by Shawn Michaels, which it seemed like, Umaga's probably going to tap. Umaga's going to probably tap. Nope, here comes JBL to stop that. Umaga, again, had to take every single bit of what the wrestlers had, and that included a code breaker, a super kick, a pedigree, and a swanton bomb just to keep him down. And holy mackerel, does Umaga get taken out in the most fantastic way, still looking very strong, and basically saying, hey, we have to do everything that we can to defeat this guy. Eventually, it would come down to Jeff Hardy versus Triple H, and the winner would go on to face the WWE Champion, who would be Randy Orton. And these two men just laid it all out. Swanton bombs, pedigrees, but it was a pedigree on the steel chair that finished off Jeff Hardy and allowed Triple H to earn the victory and go on to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. But of course, Cena would find a way to sneak right in there, but we're not even going to focus on that. Number 3, the Elimination Chamber matchup presented by Monday Night Raw at New Year's Revolution 2005. Another great matchup in which we see 2 guys starting off, Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. They fight off and just really put on a show. Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, and Edge would be involved in the mix sooner rather than later. And with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee, that really does add quite a bit of an interesting element to it. But in this case, it was an interesting element because it cost Edge everything, because Edge would accidentally spear Shawn Michaels would super kick Edge, and Edge would get eliminated. And also during this matchup, we see the first time ever where we see 2 submission maneuvers put on a wrestler, that of course being on Triple H. because Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit, they lock in their Walls of Jericho crossface deal on Triple H. Here comes Batista, who just lays the house and wrecks everybody. But this also served as the starting point to what was eventually going to be the main event of that year's WrestleMania, that being Batista versus Triple H. And it really served as a really good seed to start getting planted, because you see the two of them go face to face. Batista's just wrecking everybody, and then as soon as he looks on and sees Triple H, the whole thing where JR is just getting intense. He's like, do you want to be the man? Do you want to be the world champion? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And of course Jerry Lawler's like, no, shut up, JR, shut up, JR. He's not going to turn on Triple H. He's not going to turn on Triple H. This was just a great moment, and of course, like we said, it would really start growing even more the following night when we see footage of Randy Orton eliminating Batista via low blow, then an RKO, and Triple H basically falling down because apparently his legs decided to give out. Maybe it was his quads, who knows at this point. And just that look that Batista gave to Triple H, oh, if looks could kill. But in the end, Triple H would go on to win his 10th world title in the Elimination Chamber matchup. Oh man, Triple H, you did not need that win, but at the same time, it really did prove to be a really good matchup, and I'm very proud to say that this was the first Elimination Chamber match that I saw, and for anybody that wants to see it, go check it out. Number 2, the Elimination Chamber matchup at the 2002 Survivor Series. What? The first ever Elimination Chamber matchup? This is not your number 1? That's blasphemous! Well, not exactly. I mean, the first ever Elimination Chamber only served as a bar setter, and the bar would just continue to grow and grow as time went on, but they still did a great job here, and as my number 1 pick, I will get into that in just a bit because it's really hard to choose against it. But the 2002 Elimination Chamber match at Survivor Series, we got to see Rob Van Dam, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Booker T put on a wrestling classic in which we see RVD utilize the Elimination Chamber as best as possible, including basically killing Triple H's throat. We see Chris Jericho utilizing every single bit of the chambers so that way he can actually eliminate people. Badass, just destroying everybody and eventually getting eliminated by a super kick, pedigree, and then a lion salt. And then we saw Shawn Michaels in the end face off against Triple H and win the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time, making that statement, good old JR, saying, do you believe in miracles? And honestly, this was a great moment. And honestly, I couldn't really see anybody else taking the belt off of Triple H, at least not at that point, than Shawn Michaels. So, in all honesty, I'm totally okay with the fact that Shawn Michaels won it. It really was a good moment, and it really did create a new star. It really did make things a little more interesting. And speaking of interesting, number 1, Elimination Chamber 2017. Yep, last year's Elimination Chamber, in my opinion, was the best Elimination Chamber by far. And I know a co-host of mine is definitely going to agree with that because of the simple reason that their man won. So, picture this. John Cena is going into the Elimination Chamber 2 weeks after he's won the WWE Championship. He has to defend it against AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, and Bray Wyatt. All of these competitors really created a great story utilizing the chamber, whether it's off the pods or using the outside of the chamber. Everybody here actually looked really good, and some of the stories actually progressed more after the chamber match was over. I mean, Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose, they still had their thing, and Baron Corbin just said, you know what, I'm just going to wreck Dean Ambrose just because I can. The Miz and John Cena had a great story after this, and also Cena really planted the seeds for that feud because he actually pinned The Miz during this matchup. AJ Styles looking phenomenal, and no matter what matchup he was on during the WrestleMania card, he was going to have another phenomenal showing. John Cena getting eliminated by Bray Wyatt, which was a shock to a lot of people. Probably the second time that they've watched an Elimination Chamber match and they thought, what? John Cena's eliminated? But Bray Wyatt went on and he pinned him. And then in the end, we saw Bray Wyatt pin AJ Styles and win the WWE Championship for the first time. This, again, really creating a new star. And regardless of the fact of what happened at WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt was a made man, because he became one of the few guys that said, hey, I've beaten John Cena and AJ Styles in the same night. Hell, he did that 2 nights later when he defeated AJ Styles and John Cena in a triple threat match. Now, in my honest opinion, would that have been a better matchup to see AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania? Oh, you bet your ass it would have been. But regardless of that, Bray Wyatt winning the WWE Championship inside that Elimination Chamber last year was indeed the best direction to go. And in all honesty, that's one of the reasons why that is, in my opinion, the best Elimination Chamber matchup of this entire list. Know of any that I may have forgotten, guys? Please be sure to leave some comments in the section below. What were your favorite Elimination Chamber matches or moments? Be sure to give me a follow on Twitter, as well as give us a like on our Facebook fan page, The Game Changer. I've been Nate the Effing Great. Happy Elimination Chamber weekend, and I will talk to you guys very soon.